first.
Who?
I can go first.
Oh, Henry. Okay, my example. All right, I just use. Okay. All right, 1 second. I'll write it down.
I'll go after Henry. Fernanda.
Okay. 1, Henry. 2, Fernanda.
3, Fabian.
3.
I think it was Fabian who said 3.
Who?
Fabian said 3.
Oh, Fabian said. Okay, Fabian. Maybe when you get the microphone, hardly hear. Oh, okay. Now I can. No, my microphone is working. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Fabian 3. 4.
Yeah, I'll go.
Who? Like, who wants to go? 4? Miguel?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can go next.
5th? 5th?
I can go next.
Stephanie. 6th?
Linda.
6th, Linda. 7th?
I can go, Katarina.
Katerina. Okay. 8th?
I can go.
Who?
Kendo.
Oh, Kendo.
Kendo. Okay.
About the Kendo.
9th? 9th?
See, about the Kendo.
Isa? 9, Isa?
Yup.
Okay. All right. 10?
I'll go. Noah.
Noah?
Yeah.
11?
I'll go.
Mohammed. Okay. I don't think I've left. Did I leave anybody? No, I can't because there are 11. I've already got 11. I'm the 12th participant, so I've covered everybody. So this is the order that I have. Okay. So all of you again, create a document where you have all the counter arguments. Once you hear the speakers, document all the counter arguments that you can think about. Okay. I would expect all of you to at least have, we just have one counter argument. That's fine. All right. So my list is, we have Henry as our first speaker. Our second speaker is Fernanda. Our third speaker is Fabian. Fourth, Miguel. Fifth, Stephanie. Sixth, Linda. Seventh, Katrina. Eighth, Kendo. Ninth, Isa. 10th, Noah. And last speaker is Muhammad. Okay. All right. And okay, so I'm just going to cue my time here. Timer is, I'm going to give you all 3 minutes, okay? And I have my note cards here. So once you start your speech and I see that 1 minute is over, I will show you this. That means 2 minutes, you still have 2 minutes to finish, okay? And then once the 2 minute is done, then you have 1 minute remaining. I'll do 1 minute. And then 30 seconds remaining. I will show you 30 seconds here. And finally, I will say stop. That's your time is over, okay? So that's how it will go. And right after that, I will get into a counter argument. I will pick any one of these of the 11 participants that we have, and any one, or maybe if let's see, we have 12 of you today, so I think we should be good on time. Yeah, I think we should be good on time, but I probably won't do more than 8 minutes per student, okay? So you'll have some time to counter argue. I'll probably give it another 3 minutes, okay, to counter argue. All right, back and forth. So not more than 8 minutes per student because we'll run out of time then. All right, so now what I will do is I'm going to pin Henry if you're ready. Oh, he's already ready, okay. Okay, him. Okay, Henry, let me start the time. Let me get, are you able to see?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. Henry, go.
Okay. Hello, everyone. The topic that I chose today for the argumentation debate is about the negative impacts uh, of technology to young kids. So this society today, this society is using most of the time. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Today, this society is using most of the time on smartphone or smart devices such as PlayStation or laptops, iPads, etc. In the past generation, before these smart devices existed, kids were more activated about social activities or playing game with friends. So this generation we can call a digital age, which is impacting more negatively on kids' lifestyle. So the technology is keeping kids in a virtual world, and this means they are not enjoying this life better than the past generations. So today kids are more likely to isolate themselves on their bedroom and playing video games such as PlayStation or Xbox, etc. So one of the negative impacts is that we heard kids who are having health problems such as obesity, which happens because of the lack of physical activities. So, however, this is not the only problem because technology can cause also visual problems at an early age, and this will be a consequence for the entire life. So, the same case happened to me actually, because those glasses that I have today is cause of using too much like video games or PlayStation. Because when I was kid, I used to play too many hours PlayStation, so I was like very. It was addiction for me. But now I don't like it anymore. But it's too late because the vision is now it's a little bit of problem. So I can only stay with glasses or contacts to have a normal vision. So another example is that my brother is a little bit overweight, which has happened because he stays many hours on the chair playing like video games like Nintendo Switch. I've been telling him like to come with me to do like physical activities, but he doesn't want to. So also one source that I found on New York Times on the internet is that Steve Jobs never let his kids to play iPads, which is his invention.
Mhm.
So he created those smart devices, but he doesn't want to let it for his kids. And the World Health Organization recently advised parents to limit screen time to just 1 hour a day because they have found that the chances of having depression is very high. So in other words, those kids who spend most of the perfect time of their life on technology will cause very negative consequences about their future.
Very nice.
So that's my speech.
Okay. Great. Okay. So I will, unless you raise your hand and let me know if you have a counter argument, please do volunteer. Otherwise, I will have to call upon you. Is there anybody? Okay, then, okay. There's Fabian. Fabian, your question, counter argument to Henry.
All right. So Henry, do you know, you said you spoke about earlier your little brother, he's a bit overweight. But you said that's due to playing video games, but we also know that a lot of kids in America now are just becoming overweight just because of their diets. And so obviously going outside to play will help, but playing video games, doesn't that not even factor in as much because, it's mostly their diet.
For that, I think that kids, for example,
1 second, Henry, remember just some of the points need to come to an agreement with Fabian. You have to come to an agreement with Fabian.
Oh, agreement. Okay.
Okay, first agreement, and then say where you differ, exactly pinpoint his contention, and then defend yourself.
Okay.
First
So
agreement.
diet, yeah. So diet, that's true. Diet is important on your health, like on your body. But also, if you So if you use good food, you might have a good body, but if you don't spend your calories and when instead you stay on the chair for many hours, I think that will cause like a lack of activity and will make muscles to be like, how to say, so less stronger, and we will have like a harder time to walk normal. Because people who stay on the chair all the time, they don't do activity, just eat food, for example. They make a good diet, but they stay all time on the chair, and they skip like doing sports, like activities with friends. They just decide to isolate themselves for the bedrooms, which is not a good thing. So diet and activity are both related. So if you have a good diet, but you stay all the time on the chair, you still will get overweight. Will be like how you say, with obesity. So it's still, so both of them have to be together. So we cannot have only good diet and stay all the time on the chair. You have to do activity still.
All right,
But
thank you.
but staying on technology like few minutes or 1 hour, it's okay. But I'm saying that if you stay for a longer time, that is normal. I think it will be very bad for you. I think because those people who created technology, they don't advise it to their kids, so they prohibit to their kids.
Okay. All right. I think Stephanie has a question for you.
I do believe that Steve Jobs did do a great thing with his kids, but I also believe that within his family and the educators within his kids, they actually played an active role within technology, and they gave the kids a certain amount of time to help with analytical skills. Video games also help with strategic skills, and they improve solving skills as well. And I can actually testify to this. My younger nephew, he didn't talk, he was antisocial, and then we started getting him into playing some sort of video game and like Minecraft, and he became very social, and he started improving in his solving skills, strategically, everything. So I do believe in moderation, and with a good role model in playing an active role, kids can actually learn a lot from technology.
Yeah, that's true. Kids can learn a lot of technology. I agree with that. But I'm saying that if you stay like longer than usual, I think can cause negative consequences. It's okay if you stay for half hour or 1 hour. But I'm saying that some kids stay like many hours on the video games. They just keep staying on the TVs, laptops for many hours. So that's a good thing.
But Henry, this
So-
was a pretty strong contention.
Yeah.
Can you ask Stephanie, how did she think that, how did her nephew's social skills improve? I've not heard this. Social skills improve with Minecraft. To give you some more details and then respond.
Okay. So yeah, so how do Minecraft improve like the social activities with friends? Because my brother also has a game on Nintendo Switch, but he doesn't play it so usual. He has a game
Yeah.
on Minecraft.
So Minecraft actually is an open world
Yeah,
video
I
game.
know that. Yeah, I have tried it, like a person who build things.
Yeah, and in order for you to gather supplies for you to build, for you to make your own weapons or anything like that, to like actually survive within the realm, you have to have communication skills. And if you create a group, like if he works with somebody else, he needs to communicate that he needs either help or he needs some sort of supply if that one person has it. And at first, the communication skills weren't so good, and he was playing with not so great people. But it also depends on, again, the role model of whoever is actually monitoring this. So I do believe that it has a lot to do with monitoring the children, and majority of this is the parents' role. and the educator who is around.
So how is this communication with like a keyboard chat or with a vocal?
It's a headset.
What's that?
It's vocally.
Headset.
It's a headset.
Oh, it's with voice. So they can.
Yes.
Okay, so that's a good thing.
All right,
Yeah,
great.
that's a good thing. But it's not the same thing when you get out and play with friends and having conversation. I think it's a good thing, but it's not the same when you go out at school or you schedule activity with friends and doing conversation. I don't think it's the same thing. But
It
it's
did
good.
help
It is
during
good.
this
Yeah,
entire
it helps.
pandemic
Oh, for
because he
pandemic.
wasn't
Okay.
allowed to. He's also very low immunity, so he did help him during the pandemic and staying away from everything. So it still kept him social. It still kept him feel like he belongs somewhere. So
I know, but it's still a virtual. It's not real. It's something that you don't enjoy. I don't enjoy it for myself. I don't know for other people. It's something that you don't enjoy. It's still virtual. It's something like it's kind of fake. It's not the real world. It's just a video game.
we
But
all
it's
have
still
to
a good
evolve
thing.
someday.
Yeah, it's still a good thing.
Okay, all right. Good, interesting discussion. I hope both, Fabian and Stephanie understood your perspective. And I think you also got informed by their perspective, which was quite interesting when Fabian mentioned that, it is, obesity is almost like a pandemic in US right now. And not only right now, for a long time. And he said that the role of diet is crucial. And I know that it's almost 80% diet and 20% exercise. And he focused on that. And then we have Stephanie who came in and said that, I like the way both of you, Henry and Stephanie, both of you gave personal examples. Henry, you gave me examples of your brother. And Stephanie gave you an personal example that makes it more real, more relatable, more trustworthy. And she said that interesting discussion when she talks about Minecraft and helping and seeing her nephew change, like more almost being transformed and becoming more social, and Minecraft providing the opportunity. However, you pushed on the fact, Henry, that it is still virtual and it's still virtual. It's not really going out and playing. And she said that, well, it worked out for her nephew because of the pandemic. I feel that you need to come up, Henry, with a stronger, that the human connection, the human face-to-face connection, the looking at each other, and maybe going out and in going out, feeling the air and how important it is for our development, that needs to be even pushed further with stronger research against the feedback that you got from your but nevertheless enjoyed this. Hope this was helpful for all of you to learn from each other. Thank you. All right, Henry, it was very brave of you to go first, as usual. You led our debate series here. Okay, so next I will remove the pin from Henry. All right, so next is Fernanda. Okay. Fernanda, okay, are you ready?
Give me 1 second. Yeah, can you hear me and see me?
1 second. Yeah, I can hear you very well. I'm just trying to get the time. Yeah, I can hear you. So, are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, your 3 minutes starts now. Go.
Hi everyone, today I'm going to talk about why maternity leave should be longer for expecting mothers. So in Illinois, they only allow mothers to leave for 6 to 8 weeks for maternity leave. And that's only if the job allows you. That's by law, but the job can allow you up to 12 weeks. And 12 weeks is only if you're having any complications or if the baby has any health issues. And if that's not the case, then you have to go with and use your own sick time. And if you don't have any sick time because, you know, you're you started that job not too long ago, then you are basically only getting 6 to 8 weeks. So having a baby, I've never had a baby, but from what I've seen, having a baby does require a lot of sleepless nights. It's a routine that you are barely getting used to. So by you being thrown into this, having a new baby, and then you having to go back to work in 6 weeks, and the baby doesn't have a routine, you might not be sleeping at night, and then you're expected to be at work. And like, for example, me, I work in healthcare. I can't be not sleeping well because I have to pay attention to what I'm doing. Everything has to be done right because somebody's health is in my hands. So if I'm not sleeping right, cognitive is not there. So there's been a lot of studies that show that your body, after having a kid, your body will not go back to normal. It can take up to a year. There's a lot of issues that people go postpartum, like depression. Their pelvic floor it's not okay after giving birth. You have to use the restroom a lot more, and some of the women pump. So pumping is really hard when you work at a job that doesn't have a specific room for you to pump. So then you're having to, you know, for a very long time, having to go in hiding and pumping, and then, you know, like if it's something wrong when it's not. So I think jobs should just allow pregnant people to, or expecting mothers to decide if they want to take, you know, 3 months, and then if they don't have to get paid, they can get paid up to 12 weeks, but then that other month can be, you know, up to them if they want to get paid or not. So that's it.
All right. So who, unless you tell me, is this?
I have a question right off the bat.
Okay. So,
Come on, Linda.
Hey, three kids here in the labor workforce. So I know you mentioned right at the beginning that an employer only has 6 to 8 weeks, but the Department of Labor actually says that for Family Medical Leave Act, you have up to 12 weeks. How is it that companies are getting around the 12-week mark?
I don't. So for example, like in my company, so it's 6 weeks if you're having a vaginal birth and 8 weeks if you're having a C-section. And then they do 12 weeks only if you're having any complications. So
now,
like,
is that paid time or is that just time off?
It would still be paid, yeah.
That's the difference. Okay, understood. I wasn't understanding because FMLA, which is the Family Medical Leave Act, is a government program from the Department of Labor, and you have to allow an employee 12 weeks of leave time.
Right.
That it is unpaid. So you're talking about.
Yeah, so like,
okay.
So if you they pay you for the 6 to 8 weeks, and then the 12 weeks, if you have the sick time, they allow you to take it. And if you don't, then you do apply for FMLA, and then you can take up to, you know, longer FMLA or whatever.
So
Okay,
I have,
thank you.
but so you said it's optional to get paid another month, or wouldn't that just be like taking a vacation or?
Yeah, I think that they should give them the option, you know, like for example, when somebody.
Well, wouldn't that extra month, if you're making, how much money do you make in a month that business is going to lose? I mean, at some point, the amount of money that the business loses becomes a deficit, to where you could be working 6 to 8 weeks. You know, I understand the 12 weeks if there's complications, but another month, that's just a sleep schedule. So getting used to a sleep schedule, I mean, I know it takes a year, as you said, to your body to fully go back. But after the 6 to 8 weeks, even if after 8 weeks, my mom got C-sections with all of us. C-sections happen, you know, after, you know, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, they're good to come out, you know, and then obviously you got to get used to the soreness, but that's why they give you that amount of time. But an extra month, you know, of them paying you, that becomes a loss to the company, technically, I would think.
Well, no,
So
I agree with you. Like, I do agree that like you can get used to a sleeping study, a sleeping schedule. It takes what, like 4 weeks to get used to something like that. But then it's not fair that people who are working with you are getting up to 3 months because they had a hip replacement, and it's like,
isn't that a major surgery compared to
yeah, but a
birth
C-section,
where, it's a lot? Well, a C-section, yeah, I
it
understand
is a
that. That's
major
why they give you
surgery,
more
but
time.
then,
But a hip, you can't walk after a hip
yeah,
replacement.
but
You have
there's
to do
still
physical therapy, and I've done physical therapy. You literally can't move your leg the way you want to.
No,
Where
I know, but
birth,
still
it's
section though, like you can move. And then not only that, but then you go back to work and you can do stuff that you don't have to move, like you can be assigned to do less work, like just sitting, in front of a
so
computer.
after pregnancy, you're not allowed to do that.
No, depending what you do, basically. But I mean, my job, I can't be sitting in front of a computer. Like I have to be going to, helping the doctor with stuff and getting up and getting patients. So I just think that like I see a lot of my coworkers are older, like some nurses are older, and they've been getting, like, one of them had 2 surgeries. She had a rotator cuff. She was gone for 3 months. Then she had like a hip replacement, and she got 4 months for that. And you might not be getting paid for some of those, for maybe 2 months of that, but your job is secured. So maybe just having that job security when you come back from having a baby, that would be great, like knowing that even if you're not getting paid, your job is not going to be gone.
Okay.
I've done the job with not having, so there's 8 doctors, and then there's 6 nurses or 6 MAs, and when one of them is gone for a day, we can work around it. So it's not like, without me, the job wouldn't be able to get done. That's just.
So after 12 weeks, are you subject to get fired from pregnancy like that, or?
No, but a lot of people don't, they're not like, they don't have to keep your job. They can post your job, like, they will, it just depends, I guess, on like I said, on the time, on the amount of time you have, sick leave time, or like if you, some jobs, they tell you like you only get 12 weeks and then we're going to post your job. So.
But also, I was just thinking another thing. Isn't that, how you said your coworkers, they're a lot older and they get like surgeries and replacements, but isn't that situational because they are a lot older? So it does take them a lot more time to recover
Yeah.
from these major surgeries where, say, you're under at least under 40, from a pregnancy, you can recover a lot faster.
Yeah, no, you're right. No, but then like what I think about like after pregnancy, there's not just like the C-section, right? There's like postpartum depression. I mean, I've never been a mom, but like I know that a lot of moms go through that postpartum depression. So when you have depression, you really don't even want to get up. So
Yeah.
you're not sleeping because you have a baby, then you're not sleeping because you're depressed, you're not eating, and then you're still having to go to work. So that's something I also think about, like when
Okay. Do you know how long postpartum depression lasts?
for people can last, I mean, like up to a years. Like sometimes it
Oh,
just,
wow.
yeah, because it's an imbalance in your body, right? And then you're going through so many changes, hormonal changes, and you literally feel like nobody loves you. So because when I've taken psych, like I've seen like all the the depression stuff, and I'm like, wow, that I've never gone through depression, but like I'm sure it's really hard. And
Yeah.
yeah, so
Thank you, though.
thank you. You challenged me.
Wonderful. That's such a great session. Thank you. Thank you. I don't have anything. I just followed up with the first one because I just wanted to get the ball rolling and for you, all of you, to understand the rules of the game.
By the way, everyone, I'm pregnant right now, so I'll be going through that.
Congratulations.
Well, look,
Congrats.
Yeah, best of luck.
Fernanda, really look at FMLA and what FMLA is,
Yeah.
and make sure that your job is following it, because what you told me right now is not all FMLA. and really look into your company policies, not what people tell you, because each policy is different. And 12-week FMLA is allowable by law with at least once within a 12-month period. So if people are taking FMLA right after another, that actually could technically be legal depending on your company size. So just really look into yourself to what FMLA is, and then look into your company policy to what you're actually allowed, so that they're doing right by you and you're doing right by them.
Okay.
Is my biggest thing I'm going to tell you right now, because you actually are very fortunate that it is in your company policy that you get paid. I only get paid for the time that I have allotted for sick time. So if I only have 10 days of sick time, I can take 12 weeks and it protects my job, but I'm only going to get paid for 10 days.
Got it.
So I think that for me, if you would have gone into the direction of this is how different it is and why everyone should get paid regardless of what your job has, I think you would have had an even stronger case for yourself on why people should get paid maternity leave. And even to Fabian's point, as far as like breaking a hip or other things like that, they should also only be allowed 12 weeks. That anything after that, you would have to ask for permission regardless of what the medical condition is to be able to stay out longer. So because you're having a baby and we're not going to be in class anymore after this together, look into your FMLA and into your company policies and make sure that they are not screwing you over on anything, and that you're also doing right by them by coming back and understanding what they need from you when you return.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I will be writing those tips down.
All right. So our next speaker is Fabian. All right. Fabian, when you're ready.
Okay, whenever I'm ready.
Okay, 1 second. Okay, go Fabian.
All right, so I think that renewable energy should replace fossil fuels, and there are many reasons to switch to renewable clean energy, and some reasons not to. But I believe that the positives heavily outweigh the negatives, and I'm gonna tell you why. So, when we have to dig for fossil fuels like coal and tar sands and fracked gas, which is just gas in the earth, right? It releases greenhouse gases like methane and carbon dioxide, which are known to contribute to global warming and climate change. So obviously, you may say, okay, why should I care about that? Well, you should care because climate change is a global issue, and everyone's affected by it, from the people having pipelines go through their indigenous lands like the natives, to insects that lose their homes, and even we lose our homes due to forest fires. And all last year California was burning for half the year. The forest fires in the Amazons were going on, which are very bad, and it was all due to climate change. So in order to help not lose an entire continent like Antarctica, it's all melting. We already have many solutions and other ways and to create electricity, including but not limited to solar power, wind, and water, hydro. So we use hydro dams, we use solar panels, we use wind turbines, all of those to create electricity. And we actually, in 2019, we actually used more wind and solar and hydroelectricity than we did coal. So that was the first year actually where we had a major rise in renewable energy, and we were able to do that. But obviously, we're still emitting a lot of carbon and monoxide. And so a new way that, America's, major industries or factories are, what they're doing is called carbon capture. So they just take the carbon that they're releasing from breaking down waste and stuff like that, and they're actually capturing that carbon and using it as energy. So obviously we keep doing that, we're still going to have carbon and ways to create energy. So by replacing fossil fuels with renewable energy, it'll help preserve our natural resources, because we're losing them every day. We don't have unlimited natural resources. So it'll help preserve those, and also burning fossil fuels just hurts the entire world that we live in, and we can change it by, simply changing our investments, the private sector investments. If they can invest more into renewable clean energy, that would be a lot better than investing into coal. So.
Wonderful. Wow. Wow. A lot of data.
I know, I was gonna get through it.
Where I can see somehow. Okay. I can see Stephanie has a counter argument. All right. Stephanie, 1 second. I'm just going to pin you here so that at pin. Yes, Stephanie, go.
Hi, Fabian. I agree with everything you say, but I do have to rebuttal. I do believe the majority of the renewable energy sources aren't as reliable as we wish they were. And I have a couple examples like solar panels. They only work in a certain amount of time. So for us in the winter time when we don't get much sun, we obviously don't have much. And I can actually testify, we have solar panels in my house, and in the winter, we do not gather any energy whatsoever. So we have to do ComEd, and we have to use the fossil fuel energy. Wind turbines are very dangerous for birds, large animals who actually fly, travel, anything like that. They're also not that reliable, and they are costly. The work that goes into it is a lot of money, as well as carbon gathering. And I actually just listened to a podcast about this literally a day ago. And carbon gathering, even though it is taking the carbon from the air, is also taking from the plants, the atmosphere that the plants need to gather carbon and live, and that is in their biological system. But also, it is also costly. The machinery that goes into carbon gathering costs a lot of money, and only a certain amount of companies can actually afford this. And it costs so much that the money that is used for that can actually help another country relieve poverty and famine.
Okay, I agree with all of those statements, but we have solutions to, you said the solar power. If there's a grid of actual renewable energy, we can use the grid to actually, what's the word I'm looking for, to sustain the energy and make sure that it's not being wasted. So that's the way you handle that. And then after that, you said about the expensive and how much costly it is. That's why I said we need more private investments in the renewable energy system compared to most private sectors are investing in fossil fuels and stuff like that. So if we can transition those into renewable energy, and obviously after time, technology keeps going, it'll reduce that price down. As well as you said, for that I forgot.
The carbon gathering.
Yeah, the carbon gathering. So obviously, if we're gonna be putting that much carbon into our atmosphere in the first place, and it obviously, that plants and animals or not the animals, but the plants around it. I mean, you could just have a more controlled scenario, like a big empty field where they have a lot of garbage. We have big dumps, all over the planet and every state. We just don't see them, right? So obviously there's no plants there anyways, right? So you're breaking down that waste anyways, and it's releasing all that carbon into the atmosphere. Sure, some of the plants are going to get that carbon, but we're putting too much carbon into the atmosphere anyways. So that's going to allow us to, obviously it could hurt the plants around it, but not as much as a whole, where our goal is to reduce our carbon emissions.
You do realize that our government runs on fossil fuels?
Yes,
so
I do.
Anyone who invests on the actual politics or anything like that are Republicans who actually donate their money, and it literally politics runs on fossil fuels. So it would have to take a big step for people to actually understand that.
It's a corrupt industry. I mean, there's so many conspiracies and things that go on with the oil industry, and just because it has so much money in it, people get greedy, politicians, it's however they look at it. But Elon Musk, he created the first all electric car, and there's more electric cars now than there ever has been. People are buying, are getting used to more electrical cars and want, a cleaner environment. So no matter
But
what,
he,
if we go down the same path of just using fossil fuels, I know our country wants it, but it's really not sustainable, especially because after another 100,000 years, we're going to burn up all our resources in the first place. So then there's no money left in it, if that makes sense.
his main goal is not to fix the planet, but to leave the planet.
Well,
So
yeah,
the
I mean,
reason
we've
why,
done some irreversible damage to it already, but we can hopefully prolong our planet. We like I said, I didn't say this, but the planet, we did irreversible damage to it. So that's why he's thinking we have to leave, because the damage we did to it already has been substantial, just because we haven't regulated any of our emission practices until recently, until the last 20 years or so. We had a major boom in industry, and we didn't realize what we were doing to our planet after that. So
with the rocket fuel that he uses, he's basically using the amount of carbon that his cars didn't put in the air. So the rocket fuel that he is putting up in the air is what his cars didn't the past year.
Well, you can't negate science. Sciences don't, like, you have to create so much power to even get up into space. And he said that, like, there's no way, like, you can just use electricity to make a big rocket like that. It's just not possible yet. Obviously he's kind of hoping to find a way, but it's science. You need so much force to push a 300-ton rocket into space, and we only have certain fuels that can do that. So it's a give and take with everything. There's always a good and bad, but like I said, there are some negative reasons for renewable energy, but I believe that the positives heavily outweigh the negatives.
I do agree with that. I just had
Wonderful session. Oh, goodness. I'm going to, this is all going to be recorded, and probably instead of Netflix, I'm going to play it on a rerun basis. Okay. What did Fabian say? Okay. All right. Wonderful. All right. So next, we will move with our next speaker, who is Miguel. Okay, Miguel, here we go with pin you, add pin, okay, remove pin from Fabian. Say, there you go, timing you, 3 minutes. Miguel, you're able to see the note cards?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, 3 minutes, your time starts now. Go, Miguel.
Hello, everyone. Today I'll be talking about why cosmetic testing on animals is wrong and why I am going against it. Congress should ban animal research and switch to modern non-animal testing, because it is torturing animals for non-beneficial benefits for humans, such as cosmetic testing. According to the iowa.gov, which is the Animal Welfare Act, which was established in 1966. It was meant to set standards for animals which provide humane care and treatment to them. And during this research, what they do is they adequate housing, sanitation, nutrition, water, veterinary care, and they protect animals from extreme weather. However, many argue that it does not go far enough and that this law should be pushed even further, because they have noticed that many labs around the world have actually gone away with just inhumane practices on animals. They keep them in unsanitary conditions, they mistreat them. And and it's all in the name of innovation. To this day, the largest group of cosmetic group is the European Union, which is the largest cosmetic group in securing bans. They have secured bans in India, Taiwan, New Zealand, South Korea, Guatemala, and the majority of Brazil, which is mainly Europe. When buying cosmetic products, you should really look at who you're buying from and if they test on animals. Because being unaware of who is doing inhumane tests on animals can be inadvertently supporting the abuse and suffering of animals with your money. Some of my personal recommendations for you guys is Trader Joe's, Lush, and Bath and Body Works. To conclude, cosmetic testing on animals and experiments is not only cruel, but ineffective. Animals don't have the same diseases as humans do, such as many heart diseases, cancers, HIV, Parkinson's disease, and schizophrenia. A law to ban all research would be too far. So the law would have to be carefully written to define the kinds of research we want to look for. Nevertheless, a transition to modern non-animal testing will increase research precision and protect our wildlife at the same time. Thank you everyone for listening to my speech, and that is why I am going against cosmetic testing on animals.
Oh, perfect timing. Wow. Okay. Great. All right.
I got a question.
Who has a question? I'm sorry.
Maybe.
Oh, okay, 1 second. Yes, go ahead, Felipe. All right, go.
So, Miguel, then what would you test the products on, if not animals like rats or something like that?
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm against, the reason why I'm against cosmetic testing on animals is that in inhumane practices, the law, the Animal Welfare Act, doesn't apply to every animal or species, and that is why I want it to be enforced. Rather, like more inspections, more. It's global, and that we're in the United States, we're one of the superpowers, and that's not even something that's here.
So you're saying more humane practices on
Yes.
animals? Not really. Okay, compared to. So you still agree you should test some products on like animals? Because rats I know are pretty similar in DNA to humans, surprisingly. But so that's why we do test a lot of stuff on rats. But
yeah, I do agree with testing on them. It's just many places like Asia has gone away with illegal practices such as selling and just experimenting with them in really disgusting ways just for profit.
Okay.
And this law would, if we were to enforce it more, we would put more, details into it. It would actually help our environment. It would, our wildlife is like a helping hand.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
The environment.
Thank you.
Okay. Can we have another question for if anybody wants to? All right. Okay, great. Miguel, thank you. Thank you. Wonderful. Okay. Okay, so now next speaker after, okay, Stephanie is our next speaker. So add pin. All right, Stephanie, whenever, 1 second here. Just
sorry, I have to stop.
Stephanie, can you see if when I put the note cards and timing, like, can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So whenever you're ready, let me know, Stephanie. Okay, Stephanie, your camera, we can't see. Okay, now, yeah, we're going. Okay, good. All right. This is good for you? Can't hear. Can't hear.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah, we can. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good. Go.
Hi. So growing up as a child, being the first daughter of immigrant parents. I was brought into the United States very young. Was quite surprised when I walked into a market and saw so many cartoons and boxes of cereals. I was literally in a new world and it felt like it was Candyland. Then I went and walked into my new school and I seemed to find a lot of chairs that were advertising Coca-Cola, a lot of vending machines, a lot of just bags of Cheetos, bags of just regular donuts. And that is why I'm standing here to argue that fast food should not be in school, should be banned in schools. The reason why I am picking this certain topic is because I do believe that it is important to start our children and educate our children from early on. I went ahead and did some research on Michael Moss. He is a New York Times journalist, and he has actually gone into the war on food, meaning that he has gone into a lot of intense companies, has spoken with the people who actually manipulate the foods, and have actually admitted to the fact that they to the fact that they actually target children at schools. So this is not something that they don't plan on. This is their brand loyalty where it starts at schools. And one of the main reasons why I think fast food should not be should be banned at schools is because fast food and processed foods are really bad for the brain when it comes to young children, as well as obesity. Sorry, I'm getting hot. Junk food has negative impacts when it comes to development. It actually fatigues children and makes them hyperactive. Majority of the fast food industry items, as well as processed foods, are manipulated within the science. So within actually made up, the sugars, whether we believe it or not, are designed to make them more pleasing, more manipulated for the child to actually hit a certain type of bliss point and enjoy that more than an actual vegetable. At schools, instead of having fast food or anything like junk food, giving a child a burger, giving a child pizza, cheese, anything that has fatties in it, we should create some sort of system teaching children what it's good for them and what is not bad. And from there, children will bring this to their homes and educate their parents. Majority of these food industry companies actually target low-income families because for them it's easier to target these individuals.
Very good, wonderful. Okay, so let me take counter, unless you tell me somebody wants to go for a counter.
I have a question.
Okay, 1 second. There you go, Linda at Pin. All right, go ahead.
Okay, so you're stating that you want to ban basically unhealthy foods and junk foods from school. So what would stop students from bringing in, or is this actually, are you also banning students from bringing in their own foods? Because that's something else. I understand the school not serving it, but are you banning students from bringing in their own foods from home? And if so, this could actually create a financial hardship for a family that's already going through something. So how is the school going to help those families if you're also banning students from bringing in their own foods?
Yeah, coming from a low-income family, and well, when I was younger, my mom had a link card, and my mom also, we got free lunches. And every single time I received a free lunch, it was either pizza, cheese sticks, or French fries. And I do believe when it comes to this, kids should not be banned. It is personal responsibility for their parents to give their kids and feed their kids a meal that is either best for them or whatever benefits them. But I do believe as a school system, we should always have some sort of alternative for the child. And if it's going to start at school where they are introduced to a healthier alternative, then it should start there. I do believe that when I was younger, my family benefited a lot from those free lunches, and I am grateful for that. But I also do believe that again, schools are where kids spend most of their time. So this is where you can definitely, like the meditation part, start a great habit for them and introduce them to a great alternative rather than eating junk food all the time, and introducing them to something that they might not see at home.
Do you know, or would you know why or how many schools actually don't or do offer alternative foods or lunches? Like, do you have examples or percentages of school districts that are actually part of like the National Lunch Program, which does not allow you to have fast food and junk foods in the schools in order to participate with that?
It was at least 1 out of 10 schools in the United States. Within the zip codes, I don't know, but in the United States, it was 1 out of 10 schools. So again, the charter schools, the more private schools, those schools did offer it. So in reality, majority of the time, it's always the low-income schools that do not receive this because they are being funded by those large companies like Coca-Cola, Kellogg's, all of these other companies where they have their vending machines in there.
So to bring in money then for these schools that are in low income neighborhoods, public schools are funded by the neighborhoods they're in and the taxes that are paid. So if you're in a low income neighborhood, you have low income families that are possibly not working as much. So you have that amount of taxes to work with. So how would you fix this in low income neighborhoods if you already have that amount of money not coming in? So who would be paying for these lunches and these things to change them?
Yeah, so I actually did do some research on that, and it's just there's a lot of fundraisers and a lot of people with money who are actually looking into doing this. Again, Michael Moss has a group of individuals online. I do believe it's also within the school system if they plan on doing this, but they actually have a plan on helping within zip codes and gathering people like Jeff Bezos and all of these individuals who have money to fund these zip codes and create some sort of system like building a garden. And this actually I started in, I believe it's South Chicago. I forgot if it was Maywood. I forgot what it was, but there is a small little town, and they went ahead and started a garden. Then they started a peace house for the children. So it just started a small little thing, introducing children to vegetables, gardens, and it literally started small. And then in reality, from there, they went ahead and funded the school. But Michael Moss, it's not a big thing right now because it just started, and a lot of people are actually being aware of how bad these foods are for all of us and how high the obesity rates are in our country, that they are the main targets should be schools because our children are the future of, the country. I forgot what it was called, but I literally just did the research after work last night.
Very interesting discussion. Thank you. I got informed from both perspectives. Great. Okay, so it's about 10:04 right now, and I was wondering because 1, 2, 3, 4.
It looks like Miguel has something to say.
Okay, we've almost reached the midpoint. So we have another 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more speakers. Let's take a 5-minute break, and then we will come back with Linda's debate and argumentation speech. Okay, all right. Okay, back. Okay. All right, Linda, I will, 1 second, remove the pen. All right, Linda, let me know when you're ready and tell me if you can see the note cards.
Yes, there you go. I can see there.
Okay. Whenever
All
you're
right.
ready. Okay, go.
Let's give it a go. Okay, so today we're going to talk about when women should stay home with their children, and this is something that I'm against. So according to Surgeons.com, 70% of mothers with children under the age of 18 are in the labor force. 40% of that number, 40% are actually single parent households. So having a working mother is, and how that impacts your child is what we're going to speak today about, and where the conceptions of whether a mother should stay home with their children or not are really rounded from. What some of the things that we've talked about is their physical time with their children. And yes, working mothers do have less time with their children. As a matter of fact, they have 3.2 fewer hours per week of what they call unstructured time with their children. And unstructured means that it's time where the children and the parent are actually not engaged with each other. But then when you go into the time of that, what that actually means is that they're spending more time. The time that they're spending is actually quality time. So they're doing more structured activities where it's actually the mother and the child engaging with each other. Another part of it would be as far as their performance when it comes to school. The perspective is that women with who are working are not adequately helping their children in school. Yet studies have shown, it was actually a Danish study shows that students who had parents, mothers who worked at least 19 hours or more per week had up to a 2.6 higher GPA than students whose mothers were at home and didn't work, or they worked 19 hours or less. So that number does change a little bit as far as then you go into the behavior of school, and the behavior of children who were single parent households actually compared to that of, sorry, let me backtrack. The only difference that they found in behavior wasn't necessarily the behavior of the child, wasn't because the mother was working. It was households that had one parent working or one parent households as opposed to two parent households. And there wasn't much of a change in behavior on that side of it. As far as the adult or the child becoming an adult, the studies actually showed that daughters of women who went to the workforce actually received higher pay and were more prone to work as adults, as opposed to daughters of mothers who worked who did not work from home, who did not work outside of the home. And as far as men were concerned, there was no change in pay rate or hours worked. But what it did show is that sons of mothers who worked outside of the home actually spent 50 minutes or more of time with their family in their home, caring for them. So those are all my statistics because we're running out of time. So thank you.
Wonderful. Okay. Wow. I was so engrossed that today I forgot to show Linda your timer after the 2 minutes.
Yeah, I wasn't sure, and I'm like, okay, let's
no, you were exactly on time. Very completely on time. You did it naturally. So yeah, because you had so much of numbers and everything, like, okay, I forgot to.
I was getting a little tongue tied too, because it is very statistic run. So I'm open for questions. For anyone.
Okay. I will let, okay, I see Miguel's hand.
Yes.
I will let Miguel go. 1 second, let me just pin you, add pin. Yes, Miguel.
You said that staying home, or that you're against women staying home while having kids. Is that correct?
I'm against women, yes, not working outside of the home. Okay. Because staying at home is still working. I'm talking about women working outside of the home.
Okay, and if a woman were to stay home while taking turns with the husband to take care of their children, I think you mentioned something about wages and the difference between what you were receiving or what you would receive. But I also would like to ask, wealth is determined by many factors. Wealth is money, wealth is communication, wisdom. So how does that play a role when you're
Right.
saying against women staying home?
So no, you're absolutely right. So I did not actually go into any particulars as far as what women made or the difference in pay there. What I did speak upon is that daughters of women who worked outside the home statistically earned more money. That doesn't mean that they worked more hours than the mothers that they saw, but they earned more money for those hours that they worked. And so that just attributes to as far as the hard work, and that ties into what I was speaking as far as that working mothers don't necessarily spend more time with their children, but it's actually more quality time. So instead of sitting in a room, let's say that mom is cooking or cleaning and the kid's just there in the room, that single parent is actually more engaged. So they're more willing to say, you know what, we can clean later. How about me and you go do a puzzle together? So that's kind of where the difference comes into. And so that I think speaks to what you were asking as far as the conversations and the things that you have, being an out of the home parent as opposed to just stay at home parent.
Yeah. Thank you for answering that. Appreciate it.
Can I say?
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm just going to remove the pin from Miguel and then add Fernanda. So that kind of add Fernanda, add pin. Yes, go ahead.
I just want to say I agree with you, but I've seen it firsthand with my stepmom. She's a stay-home mom, and she has suffered from depression, like horrible depression. She feels unappreciated by all of us. Like when I used to live at home, she was like, you guys never appreciate me. I do all of this work and I feel like you guys don't appreciate what I do. Because she was depressed, that led to us spending less time with her. So she was in her room. She didn't really want to be with us because she had that like not anger, but like, what is it called?
Resentment.
Yeah, resentment. That we didn't appreciate her, and which we did, but we were just so into like being teenagers, that she felt like we weren't appreciating her. So that led to her depression. And now it's only my little brother at home, and I can see he's only 11 years old, and I can see that she doesn't spend time with him at all. And she's a stay-home mom, so he's calling me, texting me like, can you come over? I want to play with you. I want to do something. And it's crazy to me that he needs to text me when he has his mom at home, but she's not spending time with him, and I think it's just because of everything she went through it with us. And like, she thinks that he's going to probably like unappreciate her like we did, or,
So I completely agree with you. And some of what I was researching was on how mothers who work even part-time to full-time, there was no difference between the happiness level of a full-time worker or a part-time worker, but they definitely were dealing with less mental health issues than a stay-at-home mom. Now, myself personally, I actually was a stay-at-home mom and I've been a working mom. So I do have perspectives on both sides of it. I was very angry, very resentful, and the stay-at-home mom life is not for me. I did it for 2 years. I kind of had to. I was let go of during a large labor change. I had to think of my career, different choices. So I did take 2 years at home. What happens with that, and the reason I didn't include too much of that in here, is because a lot of that depends also on your spousal support at home. If you don't have a partner who is coming home to support you and sees you being at home as your only function, then you're not getting the adequate support, you're not getting the adult interaction, you're not getting help at home, and that's what actually leads to the resentfulness. So in my situation, that's what happened. It was looked upon as if I had to do everything. In those 2 years, not one person helped me lift a single hand, or it was to say, you've been home all day. What do you mean the house isn't clean? So and everything childbearing fell on that piece of it. So really to have that mental state, a lot of that does depend on your partnership. Now I have some moms who are stay-at-home moms and their partner comes home and he's engaged with them. He's like, okay, now it's my turn. I'll make us dinner. And that household is very different. So a lot of that does depend on that piece of it. And it is very important for myself personally. I enjoy working. I have been a single mom for 6 years before I got married for 5 and had kids and stayed home for 2 of those. And then I was divorced again and single parent again. I can attest to what it says on here. My son is 18. I raised him on my own completely. His father left the minute I said I was expecting. So birth, labor, everything. I endured it all by myself. And he's now a 3.7 GPA. He's never had any issues at school. Everything that I do, I am not the fun aunt with anybody or the fun mom, but I'm the mom and the aunt that does things. You never come to my house and we don't have things to do. I have like field trips. So for me, it's always been, I can attest to the fact that I will be with my kids and hear about Pokemon for 45 minutes instead of cleaning for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So, and trust me, I don't know a damn thing about Pokemon, but I've gone to 3 or 4 Pokemon movies. I did some release thing that was like subbed over where it was only the 3 of us in there. That's what I do. So you find the time to do those things.
No, I agree with you. I totally agree with you. I mean, my dad was in the picture, but he has his own company. So he's always been, you know, he's a provider. So he's never home. And that, I think that's, but yes, I agree with you. I was like, I see it in my stepmom and I'm like,
That's work.
I need to bring it up.
Yeah.
Thank you, both of you. We will move on with Katerina now. All right.
Okay, let me get my camera on really quick, see if I'm in an okay position.
All right.
Oh, hello, I'm really close to the camera. Sorry. I'm visiting my mom and brother, so I'm not in my usual place to do a video. Can you guys hear me okay though?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, cool. Just want to be sure about that too.
And can you see my note cards here? See.
Yes, I can.
Okay, good.
All right.
Go.
All right. So there is a massive problem on our planet, the meat and dairy industry. The ultimate cruelty is how the animals are treated and how they live before they're even slaughtered. They're beaten and broken and harmed in ways that we could never imagine. They're locked up in tight quarters and killed basically either by slitting their throats or by getting their skulls crushed in. Baby chickens, especially the males, are even ground up alive. And unfortunately, humans feel that this is normal. The slaughtering of an animal for food is okay. However, we can put a stop to this. We can actually help preserve our planet by doing so. In the preparation to fatten up cows, they're fed corn, and cows naturally can't digest corn, which makes them release huge amounts of methane gas. And methane gas, along with like carbon, which is used to, transport the animals to where their final destination is also harmful to our environment. With chickens, they're fed mass amounts of chemicals in their food, which helps them grow bigger and fatter to make more meat come out of the chicken. If not treated properly when they're killed, those chemicals can actually be consumed by humans. Some might argue that without meat, we could fall into a food shortage. However, this wouldn't be the case. If we stopped eating meat, the corn and plants we grow for the animals could be used to feed humans instead of the animals. So with all the land that we could obtain through getting rid of the slaughterhouses or, the farms that have the corn currently or the other plants that the animals eat, we can use that land to grow food for people and actually help people in eating better and more healthier foods than putting all that cholesterol and fat and everything that's within the animal inside of humans' bodies. And in doing so, we would actually be reducing the carbon footprint that these factories and farms have, and we will be able to use it towards ourselves in eating and leading better and healthier lives. That's actually all I have. Sorry.
Wonderful. Okay. Yeah, you had
It's
got
rather
40
fun.
seconds. All right. Thank you. All right. So we just heard. 1 second. Let me just stop this. Stop it.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. So I'll pin. Let me take Katrina's thing and then pin her. Then Fabian is coming up with the thing. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Go ahead, Fabian.
So my main question is it's more in the preparation then of the meat and the animals than compared to the actual like the actual because a lot of people love eating chicken and steak.
Yeah.
How do you stop those people from I love it myself. I used to call myself half a carnivore, like it's just I mean, I love vegetables and stuff like that too, but there's a different type of filling, in your stomach
Yeah.
than meat. So
And I get so I'm not vegan. I'm working towards it, and I see the spectrum because my mom and brother are vegan and I've lived with them for years. And as someone who genuinely I enjoy meat, I do, but with the advancements that we have now, like in terms of like the false meats or like the fake meats, that we produce, like when people say like the Impossible Burger tastes like an actual burger, it does, and it's just as filling. Personally, it does taste exactly like meat, and you can do anything you would want to do with like a hamburger or like even turn the ground beef into like meatloaf and stuff. Like you can do that with the Impossible Burger. And I get that some of it might not taste the same, but with like the genetic advancements that we have, like in terms of creating our own foods now, like sure, some of it would be chemicals, which would be a problem, but with the more natural like vegetables and stuff that we're producing to put into that, I think it would be just as what's the word I'm looking for here? It would be just as useful as filling as an actual like meat product.
I mean, I see what you're saying about like the filling and the taste, but like I've tasted like a vegan burger and stuff like that too, and it's good for what it's trying to like be. I could tell it's not meat at all, and it just crumbles apart sometimes, which is an issue.
Yeah.
But couldn't we just go back to more of a natural, not feeding cows corn? We just actually have them indulge more on their natural grass. Or something.
And we could, it would just, so in doing that, it would actually like slow down their production, which is why they do feed them the corn and, like the antibiotics that are within the foods that they give them to make them fatter and make them, a bigger portion size coming out of one animal, which is why they do like the corn and everything, because it's an unhealthier thing for them, which like humans, it would create like, fattier, or make them bigger. And like, that's why they want to do that.
And then one last thing,
right.
I was doing my research for my fossil fuels, and of course the farmers came up. They're actually looking for ways to capture that methane gas that the cows are releasing. And actually we can use that methane gas to power tons of, electricity and things that we have. So obviously we can always turn a negative into a positive like that, which is good. And so
I mean, you're not wrong. Like if there is a huge like way to be able to obtain that gas and like stuff that if we could use it towards other things, then I mean it would probably be a little bit more of a positive on that end. But like just all in all, like we don't have anything to do with it right now. Like it's just kind of like sitting there.
All right, thank you.
We'll take.
I have something. Oh,
yeah, go ahead.
1 second.
Also, like Fabian, coming from the research I did for mine, majority of our children, due to genetically modified organisms when it comes to vegetables or anything like that, like even processed foods, majority of the overly processed veggies are genetically modified, and majority of our children's RNAs and DNAs, especially by mothers who are actually intaking this, are being altered. So kids are growing bigger, kids are growing, big boned and they're actually being altered. What do you have to say about this?
So, I mean, like just in terms of like the chemicals and everything, like I look into things like I guess scientifically, just because I do think health is very important. Like when it comes to children, especially they're growing up and it's the world that they're around that's going to affect them. And I mean, I personally I think we need to go back to like the natural ways of doing things. Like I don't think we should have genetically altered anything. Like especially like in our vegetables and stuff. I don't think we should have in the first place. And I mean, sure, some of it's prevent bugs or like bacteria from getting within the plants, but I still think an all natural way would have been much better. And I mean, like just in that sense, it's what you're putting in your body, and if you're putting chemicals in there, I mean, you're not really doing yourself any good.
Yeah, and the reason they modify these is to yield more, so to feed more people.
Yeah.
So in order, like let's say an apple is actually supposed to be this small, and there's apples in the
That are, like,
industry
they're
that are
huge.
this big. So it's just a yielding to feed individuals, and especially now when it comes to like veganism. Like I tried veganism and it was great. I enjoyed it, and especially when ethical reasons, it was great. It made me feel better, especially due to my yogic background. One thing for sure is that not everything is locally grown. So everything is genetically modified, even if it says it's organic. And then there's those dirty dozens where you really have to look at the way they're grown, because they need either the chemicals for the insects, they need everything. So it's really hard to maintain this large population.
It really is. I mean, like that's a problem that, I mean, once I guess, humans really boomed and, now there's so many people in like one town or city, like there's so many people that, need the food or, need to get the nutrition that they need to, like survive. Like I know, so I don't eat a lot of like the processed stuff, like when it comes to like the meatless options. So my mom like makes the like seitan meat. That's what it's called. It's like seitan or something. I don't know. I don't know how she says it, but like we make our own of that. Like we don't, if it's on the shelf, we don't usually buy it. Like we'll make our own things. We buy from like what's it called? Like the Imperfect Foods. Like we try and get as much like organic stuff as we can, or like even like a lot of our family members, like they grow like the vegetables and stuff like that, like around their house that like sustain themselves. Like we can tomatoes and everything in my own house because we like the healthier options as opposed to like, the processed or chemically treated things, which I mean, yeah, it's a lot of it's for the yield, which to feed everybody. But I mean, that's the problem that we kind of have to try and fix on our own with how many people, currently live on the planet. I think that's what I was just trying to get out there.
Oh, yeah, and it's true, like growing locally is a political issue. Like it should be like a political right to grow your own food.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you, both of you. All right. So, okay. We have Kendo as our next speaker. So now from this, we just have Kendo, Isa, Noah, and Mohammed. So those of you who haven't done your counter argument as of now, I'm going to call upon you so that I know exactly you are also given an opportunity to talk. So once Kendo's done with the speech, and I'm going to call upon those of you who didn't get a chance to present your counter argument. All right, here.
All right.
All right, 1 second, Kendo. 1 minute, let me just time you once. Kendo, can you see like when I show you? Can you see?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, go.
Doctors should be able to give medical treatment to minors despite their parents' wishes, only during medical emergencies. Have you ever had a moment in high school where you don't feel good and you need to call your parent and let them know, or like just go to the doctor some type of way and you can't because your parent won't answer? It tends to happen a lot, but in some research that I've come across in an article of protecting the right of The rights and interest of competent minors in litigated medical treatment disputes. There have been several disputes shown that when parents disagree with doctors, most of the time, well, not most of the time, like 45% of the time, the minor does want to undergo that treatment and cannot because of the parents' wishes. And with these disputes that have been more, that have been shown more, minors have taken the liberty of also trying to get their own medical information because of the fact that they no longer want to be with their parent, I guess, like when it comes to having all their medical records held by their parents because they want to have more of their personal health more known to them. Although there is a reason for parents to have this information because of the fact that they know what's best for their child also has a right to have this information and be knowledgeable what's going on with their own body. Although parents cannot come to agreements with doctors, there are times where it has to be litigated in court because of the fact that doctors cannot help a child because of the fact that it cannot happen unless there is an emergency. And there is a rule in the Illinois guideline under Chapter 111, Section 4503, which provides status which allows treatment to be given to minors without parents' consent. If there's a medical dilemma, then it would only be time for the doctor to intervene during the parent's decision for the best interest of the minor. And that's all I got, really.
You're about time as well. So, all right. So let's have some counter arguments. I will call upon Henry. Okay, there you go, Henry. Here we are. I'm going to pin you here. Would like to hear your counter argument.
Teacher, actually, I was not listening very well this part. So
okay, all right. Okay, I'll call upon someone else. And somebody's microphone is yeah, okay, so I'll call upon someone else. Stop, remove pin. Then from somebody who we haven't heard from. We'll go with Katerina. Oh, okay. Isa, you're ready? Oh, yeah, Isa wanted to. Okay, so no, we'll go with Isa then. Okay. 1 second, add pin. All right, here. Okay, Isa.
First of all, I agree with the topic you chose because I would say that, usually minors, they don't have the liberty of going to the doctor by themselves because they are under the care of their parents because they are minors. But I would say that what would you do since you're pushing for like the doctor to take care of the minor even though the parents don't want them to, even in emergencies? How would you deal with those parents that how would you deal with the minors or the parents that the minor gets treated but the parents after the treatment they sue the doctor or the hospital for X amount of money because they didn't want to have the kid treated or whatnot?
I mean, I stated earlier that, well, only for this state, I guess I really didn't do much research for other states, that in the Illinois guideline that if it is during an emergency scenario, that the parent, that the doctor can intervene with the parent's decision and make the decision for them.
Okay. All right. like, so just following up on this one, so the doctor and the practice, as Isa mentioned, has full immunity in the state of Illinois. If something like this happens, I didn't know that they have full immunity from getting sued.
Something like that, yes.
Oh, interesting. Okay, all right. All right, I'll go with another question. This time I will ask Katerina to ask the question.
For the speech?
Yes, please.
All right, cool. Sorry, I was actually just about to ask if I could say something. So in terms of, it's like treating minors like, the doctors, like, so they can't be like sued or something like that, in the state of Illinois. So does that mean like they could pull up like the entire record of the minor? Like let's say if they had like a history of something else, like medical wise, like let's say an allergy or something, like would they be able to know all of that? Like would they be able to just see the entire record of the child, even if they'd never treated the patient before?
Well, yes, in order to find out what's wrong with that child. But
Okay,
also,
so like they would be able to know like, allergies or anything that they would, possibly be, like exposed to, or like if they've had issues with, let's say like, I don't know, abuse in the past, like they would be able to see all this,
yes,
and they wouldn't be able to like, be sued or anything for it. Like they'd be able to just freely be able to treat the child because
No.
of the,
as long as if the parents do not wish for that to happen, then the doctor can't intervene. But if it's under like an emergency situation, let's say a child does a drug overdose or something like that, and the parents like he'll be fined or something like that, like the doctor can intervene because it's just they just allow that, I guess. But on the other hand, when it comes to like looking up information, I guess you have to have the parent consent because you can't really do anything without the two parties in agreement.
okay, that was my question with them. I'm thinking, are they able to like see all that? Would they legally be allowed to?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
All right. Okay, we will move on. Thank you, Kendra. We will move on with Isa's speech. All right, here we go.
And then one thing I gotta say beforehand, is it okay if I sit down for this one because I hurt my ankle yesterday?
Yeah, fine.
Cool. All right, thank you.
All right, 1 second. Remove screen. Go to Isa. All right, Isa, 1 second. Your time. Okay. Isa, are you able to see my note cards like this? Like stop.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, right there. Yeah.
Okay. Go.
All right, so the topic I have is abolishing Common Core and standardized testing from the school system. The reason that I promote this agenda is because the Common Core system and the standardized testing system is a way of teaching that does not cater to the different needs of students. Any teacher that is qualified knows that every student learns in different ways, right? And as for standardized testing, naturally, some students are not test takers, or they might not have the money to take those standardized tests, which are expensive. Forcing them, for predicting the potential of a couple tests that they take the last 2 years of high school, or even the whole curriculum from middle school, and forcing them to think passing is better than learning is a huge blow to their future potential in school and in life. Ask yourself, like, when was the last time you were genuinely excited to learn something new? So the agenda that has to be pushed forward, at least in the next couple of years, is to either abolish or completely limit the standardized testing and Common Core. The reason I'm pushing for this is because I said before, everyone goes to school to pass. They don't necessarily go to learn. Think about it. If you have a job that you're miserable at, you're not, you get up every day, you have no motivation, and compare that with the job you love doing, you spring up out of bed and you actually want to pursue that passion. So according to a website called thoughtco.com, Common Core and standardized testing are interlinked. So if a student does not fit well into the Common Core curriculum, they're more likely to do poor in the ACT and SAT. And this is a major problem at most colleges. They look at these test scores. For younger and older students alike, the Common Core curriculum is a rigorous program that has made students to just cram in the concept and not to learn, but just to pass. And it's at a much faster pace. Some of these topics are interlinked, so if you do not fit in the system at a young age, it is more likely that these kids will drop out. And another reason is more poverty-ridden kids are affected because of things at home. And like I said, most of these parents, they don't have money to put in the money for taking standardized testing multiple times. Like for me personally, I took the ACT twice. So it wasn't really big, but I heard kids that did 4 or 5 times, and it really took a not like a dent on the parents, but like you can see it was a reasonable amount. So that's why I think Common Core should be abolished from the school curriculum in the coming years. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Let's have some counter arguments for Isa. So
Can I go first?
Yeah, Noah, please do. 1 second, let me just pin him, and then I'll pin you, because this is all going to be available on thing. Now, where did Noah go now? Gosh. Yeah. Yes. Wow.
Can I go?
Yeah.
Okay. So my question is, so teachers have to get evaluated based off of standardized tests. So what would be maybe another way to show how well of a job teachers have done? Because most of the evaluations are coming from like test scores from the students. So pretty much if they can't get those evaluations from the test results, then how else would they get results?
Yeah, I got you. Okay, so basically what I'm saying is like I said, like kids have different ways of learning. So one kid might be good at a certain point of the test, like maybe writing or multiple choice, and some other kids may be good at maybe recalling it and saying it verbally or vocally. So maybe like you can have different ways of taking tests, not necessarily sitting in a room that's timed. You have this section for 1 hour, another section for 2 hours. So maybe things like that. Or you can base it off of how well the student's doing on like assignments. Because some kids are more creative than others, and bogging them down just to assignments and, the curriculum that it's like fast paced. And usually the school I went to, at least, teachers finish the curriculum throughout the year no matter what, even if you were behind. Their main focus was just to like smash down and finish the curriculum. That's what it was. So I would say have tests in different forms, maybe like online like this. Personally, me, I can't sit in a room for 3 hours and just take a test. I get burnt out. One time I took it vocally in my language. So just different ways of taking tests and different ways of evaluating the teachers, but not by like standardized testing.
Go with another question for Isa. Let's hear from Muhammad.
So for standardized testing, you say you want to abolish it, but what would you do for the people who have to do like the SAT and like the ACT and stuff?
Like the people that are good at it?
Yeah, like who get like higher scores and who actually do well in it.
You can either abolish it or you can limit it. And then like granted, we've had this common core curriculum and standardized testing. It's almost been a decade now. So I'm not going to be like, oh, wake up the next morning and it's going to be abolished. So that's why I'm saying even limit it. So make it optional. So the people that want to take it, they can take it. But the people that, are not necessarily like me, they're not test takers. They're more hands-on, more creative. They can option out to take it. And I think more colleges should accommodate, optioning out of taking these standardized testing.
Thank you. All right. We'll thank you, Isa. Thank you, Noah, and yeah. Let's go with 10th speaker is Noah actually. So let's go with his speech. Thank you. I'm just going to stop and then. All right.
All right, I'm ready.
All right. 1 second here. Okay, go Noah.
Wait, could I get 1 second real quick? I gotta.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Okay, Noah, go ahead.
All right. So my topic for my speech is lowering the price of healthcare in America. So about the cost of an MRI scan in America is $1,200 on average. The cost of an MRI scan in Spain is $180, which is 6.6 times lower of a price than here. So pretty much the prices here are only getting higher and higher and raising to way high expenses. So the cost of healthcare in America needs to go down to provide affordability for families, specifically ones that cannot afford health insurance. So yeah. So there is more people reaching poverty levels based off of these costs for healthcare. A lot of people who live paycheck to paycheck, for example, or do not get healthcare from their jobs, may struggle from an example such as a slip and fall. You slip down, you fall down your staircase, for example. You don't have health insurance, life insurance, or you don't have any protection, pretty much. You can pretty much end up relatively, you could say you're screwed, because if you cannot afford the cost of that injury, you could not be able to pay for your kids' food, could not be able to pay for many other things like car payments, house payments, apartment payments. It can cause a lot of problems. So there is a 25% delay from people in America from spending their money on getting treatment that they really need. So what that really means is instead of getting their treatment that they need to wait after a couple more paychecks to be able to provide this help to themselves. So a big thing that they need is for the prices of these health costs is for them to stay at a standard rate instead of increasingly costing more. Because if they keep costing more, the quality of life in America will completely hit the ground. It will destroy America pretty much. Not everybody is high class or middle class. Majority of America cannot afford such expenses that are in the upward thousands of dollars for getting your leg fixed. Like, it's pretty much ridiculous. So there needs to be a standard amount of money. At least if they don't raise the cost, they at least need to make a bar that's set the same range, or make it more affordable with payments to make it available for everybody in America. A lot of people end up with a lot of health problems because they cannot pay these bills, and they get mental health problems and may even get depression or suicidal thoughts because they cannot pay these payments. And that's my speech.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Let's have a counter argument from Henry.
Yeah.
All right.
So I just had a question to Noah. So what was that program again? So what was that program for?
What program? You mean like for an MRI scan?
Yeah.
So pretty much an MRI scan is like, are you asking like what exactly that an MRI scan is, or like what the cost has to do with it?
No, what is? Because I never heard for it.
An MRI scan is like it's kind of like I'm pretty sure it's a brain scan, if I'm correct. And yeah, people use it if they have certain problems with their head, or pretty much anything. I'm pretty sure it has to do with your head.
Yes.
But
It can be done. It can be done in every part of the body.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
like they can test like an MRI of your spine, an MRI of like anything.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
I was a little misinformed.
Magnetic resonance imagery, right? That's the MRI for MRI. So it's like a picture.
Yeah. So it's deeper than a CT. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like
Okay.
it's pretty much a scan of like, I guess, your body, and it can like show problems in your body.
Yeah. But commonly,
like-
I've always heard about a
so
MRI
if
scan.
you have like cancers, things like that.
Can you say that again?
If you have like illnesses like cancer, stuff like that.
It might. I'm not exactly sure if it can like define
let-
cancer cells.
Okay, let me just interject. Okay, I'll just his whole speech was Henry was about lowering.
Yeah, I heard that. Why like is the IRS more expensive than in other countries?
Yes.
I can answer that. Yeah, pretty much. An MRI scan in America is more expensive than in Spain, pretty much because there's such a high population, and we pay people such as doctors, nurses, a very large amount because they work really hard, especially during COVID-19, where a lot of people have lost their jobs and stuff like that. Doctors just they make a lot more money because they have to deal with a lot of protocols, and they're trained to the very best. So it just costs a lot more because of the cost of supplies in America. And there's just a really large population, I guess. So there's a lot of like tax and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I agree that the prices is higher, but I think that the reason they do that is because they do business. That's why. Because if you go in Europe, the prices are much cheaper compared to here. So here is more expensive, and I think it's because they makes business with customers.
Pretty much, they got to pay people a large amount of money.
And so my question is, if people get like a lot of money here, so why they should not put like high prices if the people here get enough, like a lot of money? Because the wages here are much higher than in Europe. So in that case, the prices are going to be higher.
Do you mean like in a way for like it to be?
Noah, your voice. Noah, your voice. Come closer.
Yeah, I
No.
can't hear. No, I can't hear you. So I'm saying that if the prices, so if the wages are very higher here, and also the prices of the equipments are going to be higher. So if you go to a doctor, the price is going to be higher because the economy is higher here. That's why, I think. But if you go in like poor countries, like the prices are going to be like cheaper, I think. So it depends on the economy. So one country has higher economy and the prices are going to be higher. I think that's why. That's why Spain is much cheaper to go to do that scanning, because the wages are like smaller, I think. So people get less money.
Noah.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, now, yes,
I
yes.
have to be close to it, I guess.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. You can come close, yeah, and respond, yeah.
So you said that it makes a difference with wages. I agree with that. And people here in America, like doctors and nurses, assistants, they make probably like a way larger amount than Spain. I don't know the exact wages, but
yeah,
there's definitely a large difference. But yeah, that definitely is a part of the cost for sure. I agree with what you're saying. Yeah.
So Noah, do you propose that healthcare should be much cheaper here? That's what you.
Yeah, I say that it should definitely be cheaper, just to make it more available to everybody,
Right.
because a lot of Americans don't have health insurance, and
Right.
a lot of them have to delay getting help, which can even lead to more problems with your body.
Sure.
So I think that there should be a more manageable way to provide healthcare if they cannot lower the cost. But yeah, I think there should be a way lower cost for it, because it's pretty ridiculous.
Okay.
But I think that so I agree for like poor people to do like lower costs, but if they make the prices lower, that will impact the company's how you say, like
quality?
Not quality, but the
revenue
income. It will like decrease the company income. So, and the wages are going to be lower for the doctors who work there, so they're gonna get less money. So it will impact the economy. This is what I'm saying.
We are getting into an argument about two different philosophies, as I understand. One being a welfare philosophy, which I think Noah is trying to talk about, that basic needs, basic insurance, basic health should be covered by the government. Medical needs need to be taken care of. And then I think that's one school of thought. And then you have another school of thought which says that then these medical companies will not be making as much money, right? I think both two different schools of thoughts come in. This is a debate which is a very, very as if you must have seen it like constantly on media. The discussion never ends. But I like the way, Henry, you kind of asked him more in-depth questions. Where do you see, why is it more expensive? Wwhy? The why part. And it's interesting how Noah responded to you, saying I think this is the reason why the expense is becoming higher. Then you the discussion moves into whether it's justified. Because other countries, how can other countries like Spain or some European countries, India itself, oh my God, healthcare is so expensive. So, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. I wish, but for poor people, there are schemes, there are ways to take care of them. But if it's like a cancer or something like, where that requires a lot of money or funds, they're left to die. So this is a conversation, and I would like to, with two different schools of thought here, and it's a very debatable topic here. So
I think because, so for example, when I'm in my country and I do a scanning like that, could cost like $100, $150, something like that in Spain. But that person has a salary like $700-800 per month. So for him, like, it's gonna be like expensive. But when American comes in Europe, it's gonna be much cheaper for him because his salary is much higher.
Okay. Yeah.
So I've heard that some Americans live in Europe because of the lower prices, I think. So after they get the pension, they live in Europe. That's why it happens. So that's why it's different here.
Different there. It's good to get that perspective. Thank you, both of you, Noah. And so now we
I had
have.
a question.
Oh, who has a question?
Kendo.
Oh, Kendo, please do. Yeah, 1 second. Let me add pin. Yes, Kendo.
I was gonna ask, do you think the reason why insurance goes up is because of the lack of competition there is in that like certain area?
Are you asking?
Are you talking about like competition within like getting a role as like a doctor or something like that?
Like you know how like there's a bunch of insurance companies and most of them have like just torn down because they just like not many people like invest in them now. Do you think that the reason why insurance has been going up is because of the lack of competition there's been?
Oof, that's an interesting one. I don't really know if that is exactly why insurance is going up. Maybe it might just because the cost of living is so much more expensive, and the cost of getting healthcare is more expensive. That life insurance and health insurance is getting more expensive. I'm guessing those are like what relate to it getting more expensive. But with what you're saying is more companies shutting down for health insurance, and there being more, I guess, competitiveness between the companies. I really guess it could be with more companies shutting down, but I think it mostly would have to do with the cost of healthcare and maybe those companies not being able to support people based off of their wage and how much they pay for their health insurance.
I agree with that. Yeah, and then Professor, I had a question. So are we supposed to like type all our counter arguments that we chose?
All of them. All right. Thank you. We will now move on to the last speaker, who is Noah. All right.
Wait, what?
Noah. I'm sorry, not Noah. Muhammad. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. Remove pin. Muhammad is, where's Muhammad? Yeah, there you are. All right, Muhammad.
All right. So my question was, should the U.S. intervene in overseas conflict? So the United States spends an estimated $934 billion a year on military spending. It is the largest item in the federal budget after Social Security. Now, the question should be asked, should the United States of America intervene in other countries' wars and affairs if it has nothing to do with us? My answer would be absolutely not. And there are many reasons why we should not be involved in other conflicts. The first reason would be we have been involved in many wars for hundreds of years, and none of them have been directly our issues. With war comes many negatives, such as death, PTSD, and a lot of money being used for basically ruining innocent people's lives and destroying their homes. We could do so much more with $935 billion, or at least some of that money, to help the homeless who are in our country, or do more to help out those struggling in our country, instead of looking for our own personal gain in countries where innocent kids get killed. So the United States has not been weak, it never has been, but it's been a little weaker than it was about 10 to 20 years ago. Without all of our focus on pointless wars, we would actually be able to improve our military and provide better training and create more opportunities for people who serve in the military after they are done with their time. In our future, it would be in our country's best interest if we were to pull out of these wars that we are in for no reasons, because it can cause more problems for us in the future. The second reason why we should not intervene in other countries' conflicts is because why are we going to help out others in conflicts that are not ours? The answer is personal gain. We are looking for the best price on merchandise, oils, and cheaper imported goods. All of this is beneficial for our country when we are involved in conflicts, especially in the Middle East, where we profit off their land and their valuables. There are countries that we should not be involved with, or should not have any troops in, such as Iraq, which had nothing to do with 9/11, which is the reason why President George W. Bush said we were going in there. There was no reason except for the fact that they have a lot of oil. In fact, we still have troops in Iraq to this day. The main reason was to go there was to disarm Iraq of weapons of mass destruction. But why is the U.S. allowed to go around telling other countries what types of weapons they can use when our military budget is $934 billion, and we have much better artillery and weapons than any of these places? I can understand our involvement in other affairs because we would not have cheaper materials such as oil and other things imported from other places in our country. And we may have to maintain good relationships with other people. But I don't agree that we have to watch and be responsible for innocent people's deaths. Because even if you don't see it on the TV, there are a lot of war crimes being committed that have affected people that have nothing to do with the war. And they ruin their lives by killing their families and destroying all their lands just for United States own profit. And it's not fair for others who aren't living in the US.
All right, let's hear from any counter arguments. I think everybody got a chance. Henry did, Fernanda did, Fabian, Miguel. I'll leave it. Oh, Miguel did not. No, Miguel did as well. So let me see if I've missed anyone. 1 second. Miguel, Stephanie, Linda, Katerina did, Kendo did, Isa did, Noah did. All of you got a chance. Now I'll just leave it to any of you. Okay, so Miguel wants to stop. 1 second, I'll pin, and then here we are. We'll add pin. Okay, yes.
Mohammed, I agree with everything what you said in your speech, but since it is a rebuttal, I got something for you. If we were to pull out of these wars, won't this actually cause the wars to increase rather than decrease, because others may think that the superpower has backed down and is now an open gate for increased conflict?
It could have consequences. I didn't really look into that part of the argument, but I just feel like we are involved in a lot of conflicts and wars that there's like too much to keep up with. Literally, like, we don't have to be involved in that much at all. We can like slowly start to pull out of some of these wars, especially those that really don't have any gain for us or is in our interest, basically.
Is there any other like alternative option rather than just pulling out of war and not necessarily starting a war, being involved with any conflicts, but helping or just decreasing wars just by speaking, like strategies with speeches?
I honestly don't think so. I feel like we are like, we fund basically other people's wars. Like we give them weapons, we give them money. Like we are like the biggest involvement in why there are wars basically in other countries.
Okay. All right. Thanks for answering. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Take another question.
Yeah, I got one.
Okay.
So first off, bro, like 100%, I agree, because like with the whole everything going on in Palestine and stuff. And first of all, I want to say is like America, whatever you think, America isn't even run by America. It's run by other powers such as like, you know, Israel, China. They have like these underlying factors. So the thing is like, if you're saying that America should just pull out of these wars, which I agree 100%, but for the sake of the speech, if America does pull out, how would you deal with the after effects of America pulling out? Even if these like superpowers, they have strings attached to America, like Israel, like China, all this stuff.
Yeah, for sure. That's a good question. Yeah, I would say, yeah, I didn't really think about that part because yeah, they are connected to other countries as well. So I wouldn't understand how that would affect them too, or if that would sever their relationship with America as well.
That's an interesting question. Okay. Okay. Okay, Noah has a question. Wow, lots of questions coming up. Actually, this is going on right now with this whole Israel thing happening. Okay, 1 second. I will add pin Noah. Yes, Noah, you have a question for Mohammed.
My question is related to the U.S. military being in countries like Syria, where there is a high rate of people getting killed, such as like kids and adults, parents. A lot of them are getting killed by the Taliban and like Al Qaeda, stuff like that. So you said that you wanted the troops to be out, correct? What about issues relating to that and pretty much the dangers of being attacked for the people who live in those countries?
Honestly, like, I don't think we're doing it. We're not helping anyone being in those countries. Like, we're not protecting their civilians and whatever, being in their country. We're looking for ourselves. We're trying to get oil from over there cheaper over here. And we're trying to basically, I'd say we fund a lot of those terrorist groups instead of trying to help out the people over there and stuff. We're not looking for that. We're looking for our own personal gain.
Yeah,
and that's
I see where
just
you're
true.
coming from, for sure. Yeah, that is definitely true. I agree with what you're saying. I'm more like pointing. I understand that like the U.S. is using a lot of it to their advantage, but my point is like for a feeling of like security for people there, because there isn't much protection there. There isn't. The police is pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. So I was just saying in a point of like protection, because a lot of branches of the military, like Army and Marines, they like scout out those areas and pretty much like make sure there's no terrorists or anything like that. So that's pretty much where I was coming from with that question.
Yeah, I understand.
My just a thought for you, it just in line to piggyback with Noah's comment and question. We did a speech, remember, we watched Obama's speech, which was, one of the speeches that we used to understand Toulmin's model of argumentation and his decision to strike, I can't remember the name of the place, but I think it's Syria, yeah. It was his decision to do a targeted missile strike on Syria, and he had some reasons for it. In light of that speech, do you see is there any scope of any rebuttals or any exceptions to your speech? Do you remember what he said? He said that if it's a chemical warfare that is against the international agreement, if they are doing chemical warfare, we need to intervene. If they're killing women and children, we need to intervene. If they're using, if our allies are involved if they go and attack US allies, our soldiers are there, we need to protect them. So we need to strike. In light of those statements, how do you see your claim? chemical warfare, attacking women and children, and protecting our own troops and soldiers who are in these countries. I think the third point is perhaps what was Noah was trying to get at.
Yeah.
Some of these places are very, very unprotected.
Mm-hmm. I don't really have like a good response for it that I could come up with at the top of my head right now, but I just want to understand, why does America have the say to like declare like what is right, what is wrong? Like, why are you guys like the rulers? Why can you like be like, okay, well, we need to send our troops over here because of this and that? Like, no other country does that except for us.
Okay.
That's all. Yeah.
Yeah, and I can, and to your point, Mohammed, if you remember, Saddam Hussein, it was thought that they have weapons of mass destruction, where till date it hasn't been proved whether they really had weapons of mass destruction. And the whole war, which George Bush Jr. did, and seniors were, both of them, based on the assumption that there are weapons of mass destruction, which wasn't proved. So, to your point, yeah. Okay, so yeah, with this, I do have 2 chats coming in, which I did not get a chance to read. I'm sorry. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, okay. So, all right. So Isa did point out something else in response to me. So, right. And can we email you the count? Okay, so what you need to do is, I will give you about 5 minutes to wrap up all your thoughts. All of you need to identify the speakers, like Noah. What was his argument? And then your response with the counter argument. What was his argument? Just maybe, as simple as possible, maybe a 1 line, if you can. What was his argument? And then what is your counter argument? All of you, some of you have already done that work, but still I'll give you about 5 minutes to organize yourself. How do you want to turn it into me? I am going to create this for you. I will be great, as I mentioned to you, that you'll be graded on this one. So I am going to your Blackboard, and I'm opening it up as classwork. And okay. Last classwork that we have, assignment, and I am doing it right now. You just need to go and submit it there. Assignment, share. What do I call this? Okay, counter arguments. All right, arguments. So we had 11 speakers. 11 counter arguments and 11 speakers arguments and counter arguments. So I will assign points for this one.
So not including ourselves, we should just have 10 total counter arguments?
Yes, not including, yeah, of course, yeah. You don't have to include yourself, yeah. 10, I'm sorry, yeah, not 11. Okay, so this will come to me privately. I have already opened it up for you. You can now go and submit it, okay?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Oh, what about what about Samantha? Do we like not have to do
No,
that?
don't. I'll talk to her. So you don't have, yeah, because she was not there. So yeah, I have to figure it out with her. But that's great that you thought about her. Okay. So this should come to me privately now. And I also have a set of questions that I want you to work on. Once you're done with this, just raise your hand that you're done. You've submitted it. Okay. And how are we doing? Oh, we're doing great on time. All right. So last one is this. I love the last question that I'm going to give you right now.
Professor, do you have to give counter arguments to one of the classmates or each of them?
Each.
Okay. So do you have to do it today, or we can submit
Right
it
now, right now.
right now? Okay.
Where did it disappear now? All right. Did everybody, if you didn't, just by the end of the class, please submit that. Right now, as I mentioned to you, there is no final exam. This was your this was your finals, if you will. You know, the last speech, the debate speech was, as I showed you, like it was one of the most challenging one for you, because now you also did a lot of on the spot thinking and responding, where it wasn't really possible to come up to prepare for all counter arguments that would come your way. So you did it naturally. So the one thing that I want you to do right now, class, before we end our class today, we have about 20 minutes, and this should not take you more than 15 minutes to do. Fabian did. Oh, Fabian raised his hand, and then okay. So this should not take you more than 15 minutes to do. I do have a question answers for you. It's not a final that I'm giving you. It's more of a self-reflective analysis of the course. It should again you shouldn't take more than 15 minutes to do this. I'm just going to share it with you here. These are the questions here. If you go to, I'm right now on your site here. One second, my institution. 1 minute. Where's our class? Our class spring. Yes. So if you go totally to the bottom till you can't go any further, I have a discussion forum for you here. You should not take more than 15 minutes to do this. The time is 11:30 right now, so you should be done by 11:45. And these are the things that I want you to, how do you rate yourself as a public speaker before you join this course? After, how do you see yourself as a public speaker after this course in 50 words? So it's going to be short, right? But be pointed, be specific, all right? In what areas did you see improvement? In what areas did you see improvement as a speaker, writer of speeches? In what areas do you think that you need to still work on and make an improvement? What were some of the highlights of this course that you really enjoyed the most? What was most challenging to you in this course? And some parting words for your instructor. So your time starts now. And I'm here.
Professor, can I have a question?
Yes. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can do something. Henry, privately type the question in the chat and I'll respond to you because everybody is writing.
No, I just had a question about the Fabian speech. What was his speech about? Because I forgot.
Fabian talked about, you can ask this question to Fabian because he talked about using renewable sources and not using fossil fuel.
What is that? I don't get it.
You can talk to him privately.
Okay. Okay. Professor Sen, I just sent him a text message, but I don't think.
Okay, then just
he
because this is a test, you just skip him, move on to the other ones.
Okay.
Yeah, Dr. Sen, I finished my my course analysis. Is it okay if I go? Because I have to.
Yeah, that Fabian, no, you're here. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Thank you, Fabian. Bye.
Have a good summer,
You too.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
See you, Fabian.
Who's next? Somebody wanted. So while you're doing this, I will be turning in the grades by tomorrow. So far, all your grades have been updated. I mean, till 9 o'clock this morning, 9 or 8:30 this morning, all the grades have been updated. So if you don't see anything, let me know. I would really like y'all to look at it, and I will be turning in all your final grades by tomorrow. And the grades of course, your final grades means this grade as well, all of it. I could see all your answers turned in, some of them. I mean, the counter arguments all turned in. Okay, more coming in. Miguel.
Ms. Rosman?
Yeah, 1 second, exit. 1 second. Yes? Who's this?
It's Miguel.
Oh, okay. Hi, Miguel. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just wondering if I could present a speech.
Yeah, you're doing it today, right? After class.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you figure out who's going to stay with you? One person?
No, I wasn't able to contact them. I never got a response.
You can ask your classmates if Fabian missed a speech and he's going to do his makeup speech today right after class. So if any of you would like to volunteer to be his audience, Miguel would appreciate it.
I will stay.
All right, great. There you go. You have
All right,
an audience.
thank you very much.
How are we doing on time? 11:41. You still have 9 more minutes to finish the course analysis. Linda's came in.
Professor, I'm done.
Oh, who's this?
Kendo.
Oh, Kendo, you're done? Okay, Kendo, if you're done, thank you very much. Do you want me to check whether it's come in or you're fine?
I'm fine. Yeah.
Okay, let me quickly check whether both the responses have come in for you. Actually, I forgot to check Fabian's as well. Let me see first you. Kendo. Yeah, both have come in for you. Yes. I'm not opening it, hoping that the documents will open up.
Okay.
All right. Kendo, if you have any if you have any like missed work or anything like that, just know that tomorrow I'm going to turn it in tomorrow. So just go and look at your grade book and everything.
Okay.
Other than that,
I'm pretty caught up. Other than that.
Oh, okay, good. I'm just saying this to everybody. So, other than that, nice having you. Nice video calling you from the park sometimes. But all the best to you, Kendo.
I hope you have a great summer, and I'll keep your family in my prayers because I know a bunch of stuff is happening in India, and it's just not many people are paying attention to that.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Right.
Later, Kendo.
Huh?
Have a nice summer, Kendo. Have a nice one, brother.
Yeah.
Add the snap. Add the snap.
I got you on that phone. Professor, I'm done too. So I just.
Oh, you're done too. Okay, Isa, just look at your grade book and see whether everything is done. Everything is turned in because I've updated it. If not, remember tomorrow I'm sending in the final grades and everything. All right.
Yep.
So you take care, Isa. Nice. Take care of your feet. I know that you hurt yourself a number of times. So take it easy.
I just want to say bye to everyone before you start leaving. This is like one of the best classes I've had ever online. And I've taken a lot of semesters here, guys. So I think I'm genuinely going to miss waking up on Saturday and seeing you guys. So good luck to everyone and all your future stuff. Have a great summer. And I might still see you guys. I got 2 semesters left here.
All right, man. Take care. Stay healthy. Stay safe.
Bye,
Take care,
everyone.
guys.
See you later, bro.
I'm out of here.
Everyone. Okay, I have also submitted everything.
Okay, you want me to check or wait?
Yes, please.
Okay, 1 second, Stephanie.
Professor, I am down too. Can you check if it's
Oh,
submitted?
I'll check. Stephanie, I can see that your counter arguments has come in. I can't see your course analysis, but I'll just and Henry. Let me see Henry Nesrick.
Just posted them, so maybe you may have to refresh.
Let me refresh. Yeah. Maybe that's the thing. Yeah. Yes, it has come in. Let me see. Stephanie floors, right? So Stephanie. Yes, Stephanie, you're right. Both have come in. Yeah, and then Henry, right? Henry. Yeah. Henry, your counter arguments have come in. Your last course analysis has not come in.
What is that again?
Your counter arguments, I can see that, but your course analysis has not come in.
So what was the first analysis?
Course analysis, what was it? Go to classwork. Go to classwork and scroll down till the end, till you can't see any more. That's where your course analysis is. There are few questions there. See, how do you rate yourself as a public speaker? There are 4 questions there. Just respond to those questions and turn it in.
So do I have to do it now or can I submit it for after few hours?
Turn it in as soon as possible.
Okay.
If I could see you're driving somewhere, that's fine. You don't have to just come back and turn it in by within 2 to 3 hours. Just turn it in.
So that is on the week assignments or on the classwork?
It's in classwork. It's at the end. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Bye. Thank you for everything.
Thank you.
Bye. Yep. All my stuff is turned in as well. So
Oh,
enjoy the rest of your summer.
All right. Thank you. Thank you,
Bye.
Linda.
Bye, Linda.
Bye.
Have a good day, everyone.
Thanks, you too, Henry. I think all my stuff's in. Could you actually check for me? I've had issues with Blackboard like all semester.
Yeah. Okay. So it's just about 2 minutes left. Miguel, you here, right? Yeah, Miguel's here. Katrina, you're here. I will check that. And Fernanda's here. Fernanda.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm just going to wait for Miguel to present.
I'm sorry. Say that again.
I'm going to be with Miguel for
presentation.
presentation.
Okay. All right. Okay. Great.
Can I stay for his speech as well?
Yeah. You can.
I would like to just be an audience too.
Okay, all right. Okay. I can see Mohammed and Noah. You guys are still logged in. Is there anything that you want to share?
I just want to say bye to everybody. And Thank you for the
No,
great
Noah,
class.
turn on the camera. We want to see your face before you say bye. All right. Bye, Noah.
Bye,
I
Noah.
say, adios. Thank you for the great class. It's my favorite one I've had so far.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Great.
Hopefully, you guys all have a great summer. Bye.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Have a good summer.
Mohammed, you good?
Yeah, I'm still working on this. I still have to.
Okay, don't worry about it. So you can work on it, Mohammed. I will now, and then whenever you're done, you can just log out. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Bye.
Okay. So remove pin. All right. So since we are all okay now, you know what, guys? What I have to do, because I'm going to be recording. No, that's fine. That's not a problem for me. What I'll do is I will be, there shouldn't be any problem regarding that. Okay. So Katrina, can I discuss your assignments when Fernanda and Miguel both are present here?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So do you want to do any of your missed speeches?
I gotta see if I actually have mine like up still, like just see if I have like the notes and stuff that I had on them.
Okay, no, so that's my only thing is that right now Miguel is doing his missed speeches and he has Fernanda as his audience. And if you and I don't remember whether you had any, just look, if you have any missed speeches, then you can make it up now. So
Okay, I think I have one or two, and it was literally just because of the dental stuff that happened where I wasn't able to do it in person. So I'm gonna look to see if I can pull up those notes if that's okay.
All right, so we'll begin with Miguel. Miguel, where are you now? Oh, again, he admit. Miguel is coming in. Okay, Miguel's here, right here. Miguel, how many are you going to do today? 2?
Hello.
Miguel, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Miguel. Hi.
Can you hear me, Ms. Rashmi?
Yeah, I can hear you. How many speeches you're doing? 1 or 2 today?
Just one.
Just one. Okay. So so what I'll do is I'll pin you. We have Katrina as your audience and Fernanda as your audience, okay, which is wonderful.
Okay.
Okay. So the video recording is still going on. You are going to be recorded, okay? Just like any of your.
Okay.
So I'm just going to pin you right now. Add pin. There you go. I have to remove myself. Pin. Come. 1 second. I'm setting up the timer. Which one are you doing, Miguel?
The informative speech.
Okay, the informative speech. 4, 5. Go, Miguel. Start.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Have you ever felt distracted or overwhelmed to the point you could not complete a task? Today, I will be talking about the Pomodoro method, which is the technique, the time management technique that I chose for a 21-day journey. I was intrigued to begin the 21-day journey because during this time of my life, I was actually dealing with post-COVID symptoms, which were mental fatigue and lack of motivation. So this technique helped me manage my time more effectively because it was a skill. It's an essential skill that could save you potentially a lot of money in the future, rather than, because of stress and what it can bring. It causes back pain or mental fatigue, or you're always going to chiropractors or having surgeries. And while this technique has helped me in the way that I don't need it, I could exercise, I use this, I manage my time, and things go a little bit, they're a lot easier for me. And during this time, the obstacles that I faced, which were mental fatigue and lack of motivation, there was really, it was just a point in my life where I couldn't, no matter how hard I tried to accomplish a task, it was really difficult for me. And when I was using this technique, it really broke down every task that I had to do into a simple category. The point of this method is that you can use it on any task that causes you to overthink. And it basically sums up to 25 minutes of work time and 5-minute frame of a break. But while you're doing the 25-minute work time, you can, you're focused on one goal. And anytime that you have an occurring thought, you have something that distracts you, you just write it down on the side with a piece of paper. And then while you're on your 5-minute break, you actually go back to this and you can complete a little bit of those tasks, so that it's not, you're like, oh, I'm doing homework, or I'm doing a task that, requires my attention, but I'm having these thoughts that keep distracting me. So that's generally the point of this method. It was really challenging for me to implement this into my daily life, mainly because it was new to my schedule and it required a lot of discipline of me. The beneficial value to our lives that it brings is that it helps us organize ourselves when we are going through difficult tasks, like it helped me when I was going through COVID. It gives us more access to use our time effectively. And it just overall brings on a better mental health to your life and overall well-being. And thank you very much for listening to my speech. This Pomodoro technique.
Okay, great. All right. Thank you. Do we have any questions, Fernanda, for quick one?
No, I've never heard about this, but this is pretty cool because I have heard a lot of people with those symptoms, like post COVID symptoms. And a lot of people, like people who don't believe in COVID, are like, oh, you're crazy. Like that doesn't really happen. But I've seen a lot of people that like do have those symptoms, and it's cool to learn from you that I can like now tell somebody else like, oh, well, you should try this.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know. It's a time management technique that has always been there, but I've never heard about it. I was never aware about it. And then until I started researching about it and started implementing it into my daily schedule, it really helped me organize everything and break everything down. Even when, I know a lot of people overthink a lot of stuff and it makes it difficult for them to complete a task. And this Pomodoro technique really helps you with that.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I could even implement that in my life because I am really like, I do everything last minute. I've always been like that. Like I turn in my homework last minute. Like it's always last minute. Even though I have all this time, I like do it all last minute. And I feel like I work better under pressure. So my stuff are better when I do it last minute, but it's still not a good thing to have. So I think time management is a really cool thing to have.
Yeah. If you work a lot better under pressure, this actually gives you a 25-minute time frame where you're under pressure, but you're not like, it's not a pressure that's like a negative impact to your life. It's actually a positive impact.
Awesome.
Okay, so we'll go with Fernanda. I'm sorry, not Fernanda. No, Fernanda. We'll go with Katrina. Are you going to do your speech or?
I'm looking, so like I had part of my informative one done. I don't have like the full thing. So,
Okay.
Like, should I still like attempt to do one? I
Okay,
don't know.
do something. Let's figure out a time. You give me a time that you'll be ready today.
I could probably do around like, I don't know, maybe like 2 earliest, perhaps, because I do have to.
I will not be home. Let's whenever.
Okay. What time would work for you? Because I'm kind of like free today, so.
Okay, so let's make it around 8 o'clock
Tonight?
tonight.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Other than that, thank you, everybody. Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you. Have a good summer.
Take care, you guys.
Have a good summer, guys.
Bye. Katrina, if you want to talk to me regarding your, oh, they're all logged out. So now so if you want me to, actually you're still being recorded. So I would suggest I'm going to end it and then I'm going to log in again and you come in again because all your personal information, you're still being recorded.